Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever it is where you are, and welcome to another episode on the Annoyed Dad channel. In today's episode, I am going to run around and I'm going to show you what my morning routine is like, what I get up to. It's been a little while since we made one of these videos, so I decided it was about time that we did. So first things I've done is I've just come in and I've just grabbed up the tubs that I use, and we got some eggs from yesterday that I collected that have now been put up onto the shelf. Second thing I do is I always come over here and I look at our electric fencing. So this is the solar panel. During the months of December and January, because there was hardly any sun for any length of time, it really struggled and it all dipped right down. Now I don't know if you can see, but just in there it gives off the voltage that's currently coming off the batteries, and because it's early morning it's ranging between 12 and 14 volts, which is coming in just at the minute. That will start to settle down in just a little bit. And then I look over here at the energizer, which controls the electric fence, and that flashing like that means it's got power and enough power. If it flashes quickly, it means it's low on power, which is what it was doing for most of December and January. And where it flashes there, just like that, that means that it is giving off a high enough a voltage through the system, and it isn't earthing out too much anywhere. So I know it's kicking out a good old strength there. Right, so then we take our tubs, we take this big tub, and we bring it out here and we knock out. I don't normally put the eggs in here, it's just yesterday I was in the middle of doing 18 different jobs at once and I just did. So we lay that over the top of that tub, and then we put that tub on top like that, and you would have seen there's a mesh in the bottom of that. Now that mesh is there because I made some big holes, and then I take my wheat that has been soaking for about 48 hours and I just pour that in. So that then drains through the holes into the bottom, and it means I can reuse the water. We did used to do it where it just went on the ground, but then we ended up with wet stuff everywhere and it wasn't very good. Right, let me just angle you down for this bit. So this bit is highly technical. We have an old saucepan, and in here is where I keep my wheat. So I give them 6 saucepanfuls of wheat. That's 4, 5, and 6. There we go. So I then put this down next to it, so as I can't walk out the farm without seeing it and then walk off and forget it, which has happened just once or twice. Right, you might be able to hear in my voice I'm a bit today. I've had a cold that just isn't going away. It's not COVID, don't worry. I've had that already. Right, so what I've got is, let's go down to the feed store tomorrow. So this is normally, what I normally do is I normally do 4 scoops of this, and this being layers pellets. I can work it out roughly as to how much 4 is. So we use farm gate layer pellets. They've gone up in price. They used to be, not so long ago, they were £9.50 for, I think they're 25 kilos, 20 kilo sack. Yeah, there you go. They were £9.50 for 20 kilos. Now they've gone up to £11. And the other one I use is a local brand, which is Wren's Feeds, and this is mixed corn. So we pour this in. Again, I would normally do 4, but because the sacks are nearly empty, I can work it out roughly as to what it is. And basically, what you've got here, hang on, let me put on the little pixies. There we go. We're able to see what we're doing now. So basically what you've got here, you've got little bits of corn and you've got bits of wheat. So like the wheat that we soaked and is in the other tub, but it's mixed in with this, and it is, there you go, there's a kernel of corn. So it's just basically corn that's been dried and then chopped up. So that goes in. So I'll give them a mix of that, mix it all up together, and it gives them all of the vitamins and the nutrients and everything else is that they want and that they need. Oh, I'm getting dirty hands now. Lovely. Right, let's go off and start looking at the animals and seeing where we're up to. Let's angle you back up again. So we've got those over there. Those guys don't need doing. They don't need doing every day. I have checked them. And I'm going to need a watering can. There's normally a watering can sat down here, but it's not there today. And that can only mean one thing. Yep, that's right, that I didn't put it back yesterday. Right. So typically, when we're dealing with water, we do try wherever possible to use the water that's come off the buildings and where we store it in the gutters and everything like that. But unfortunately that's ran out just at the minute. So as much as we don't like to pray for rain, we do need a little bit of rain just to refill our stores. Mainly because our storage at the minute isn't very big. And you might have seen this new building behind me that I haven't really spoken about because it's to do with horses. And we will be placing some guttering onto that and doing other bits and pieces to try to capture the water. Now you will be able to see that we have got water and the water is working. Unfortunately, after Storm Eunice, it knocked out all the power to the area, and for some weird reason the water company, the way how they got things set up is so as everything is pumped, and it's all pumped using power from the national grid. So the power went out, then the water went out, then their reservoir is emptied, and then they weren't able to do anything about it to try to get the water back on. So it ended up being about a week that us and the houses around here were without any water. Okay, chickens around your gate and turkeys, you're not going to get through that, are you? The easiest way is just to take some feed, fling it to the back, and there you go. You can walk in safely. So these guys are ready for harvesting. The males amongst them at least, possibly the females as well. Where's your tub gone? I love that noise the turkeys make. Sorry if it's not the most perfect angle, I'm just trying to get things done so as I can then explain things and show you everything that's going on. So what we've got in here is we've got hens and cockerels that we hatched. So like these guys here, they're ready for harvest. And there's a few other ones. And we hatched them out and they came from our laying flock. We then got 2 turkeys that came from our turkeys. Now you might have seen in the last video, we've actually lost our turkeys. Unfortunately, they were killed by the fox. And we got some banthams in here that the wife decided she wanted. Just have to excuse me whilst I'm collecting eggs. There we go. So I think I might keep the girls, but then the rest of the boys I think will be going. The turkeys will probably end up keeping, and we'll probably try to get those up and breeding again. I'm not sure if we'll be able to do it this year. I might just end up buying in some eggs for the turkeys to try to do something for this year. But I don't know. That kind of knocked me for 6 when the fox took them. I don't know. We'll see. So I'm just refilling up their water. Highly technical water system we have around here. It is literally just a washing up bowl and I pour water from a watering can into it. Main reason being is because these are only temporary things. These were put up because of that bird flu flock down directive that came out. If you don't know what that, sorry, just hit you against the fence post. If you don't know what that is, I will just briefly explain. Basically, there's avian influenza, which is within the United Kingdom at the minute. It is spreading from flock to flock, And if your flocks are inside and they're kept away from the wild birds, there is a lower chance that they will catch the avian influenza, because a lot of it is actually spread by wild birds. So because it's about, again, the government have again imposed a lockdown of birds, must be kept inside, must be kept away from wild birds, cannot be allowed out. And we end up in a situation where we're having to keep everything indoors under lockdown, and I'll be honest with you, it is an absolute nightmare. And you do start to question, is it a nightmare that you want? Is it something that you want to be doing? Because if it's happened this year, it's going to happen next, and it happened last year, it's probably going to happen the year after, and the year after that, and the year after that. And yeah, you do start to think, do you build everything now for indoors, or do you not? Where are you, Steve? Right, there you go. Right, so these are the wife's pretties. I think they're freaking ugly myself. But you know, well, yeah, you go that way. Don't try attacking me, or else you'll be having cuddles every day. Right, we'll do it the easy way then. There we go. So yeah, these are the wife's pretties. Right, I'm just going to collect eggs again. Hang on a sec. So there we go, 6 eggs from these guys today. These will go up with the wife's little lots. In here we got Steve-O. Steve-O the disabled duck. But he does what he can. So the eggs from out of there, wife has asked me to keep them separate, because she wants to hatch them. Where was I putting them? Up here, right up the top. As you might know, we haven't even switched on an incubator yet this year. But that will be coming because the geese are starting to lay and get on with things. So that will be coming, don't worry. Right. This enclosure was here when I bought the place. So it's all a bit fally downy and a bit rotten in places and not very good, but I do plan on bringing it down and putting something else in its place, not bird related but human related. But I can't do any of that just yet because I need to get clarity over something that might or might not be on the land. There might be an order on the land, but I can't get any clarity out of the local council. Well, I can't get any response at all from the local council. It's just like, my God. Have you ever tried talking to a planning department? They are just an absolute nightmare. Right, anyway, in here we have got some more bantams, and we got a laying hen. She was one that we hatched out, but if I remember rightly, she was being attacked by others, and they were all a bit nasty to her. So I brought her in here just to give her a chance to cool off and chill out for a bit. Oh, I didn't do that very well, did I? Look at that, eh? That's because I'm not concentrating, I'm talking to you guys. But yeah, so they're in here, they're happy, and she's happy. And then I've got one down here who's gone broody. See her in there? Here she is, all broody she is. But I don't want chicks yet. It's a little bit too early, and with lockdown still going on, you don't know when it's going to end. Scotland, I think they had another 2 cases yesterday, and that is literally hundreds of miles away from us. But we're still affected, and we're still in the lockdown. Right, let's go this way. Now you might spot I haven't done anything with that wheat yet, and you might be thinking, why hasn't he done anything with that wheat yet? Because that is still to come. So this area here, this is the area we call the secret garden. Shh, don't tell anyone. And in it we had some, what did we have? We had light Sussex large fowl boys. And they were quite happily living in there, and they grew in there. And then they became my tea. So now you might be thinking that when I go around and I'm feeding things like this, that I am breaking all the rules. Not putting it in a container, not leaving it so as it can be cleaned up, just dumping it in there. Oh, excuse me, leaning in, getting eggs again. And yes, I am. See, there's one of those gross things, naked necks. Wife likes them. Yes, I am, but at the minute, it's the only way you can get things done. Oh, you might not have spotted. I'm not sure when this video is going to go up. I'm not sure how much editing it's going to need. I don't think it'll need very much. I might just put it up as a monologue. But it's been announced that from, I think it's tomorrow, you can no longer get free range eggs in the UK. Now this is all due to this lockdown thing again, or flock down as it should be called. And it is because the birds have now been, when they place the birds into lockdown, they give what's called a grace period. So you're allowed your birds to be locked down for, I think it's 16 weeks. And then after that 16 weeks, they're no longer classed as being free range. But if you see what the free range actually is, it's not very much. So they're saying that, and from tomorrow, no free range eggs will be available. So even my eggs, as much as I would like to call them free range and all of that malarkey, they can't be. Up until they release from lockdown, and then the birds get a chance to actually get out and about and do things. That's it. So I need to call into the feed store tomorrow morning and get some more feed. So I've just given a little top up. I think I need a little bit more. And then we've got 3 bits left to do. And we're nearly done. And this is what I do every morning of every day, 365 days a year. Well, obviously it changes a little bit here and there depending on what's happening and what we've got in. Things over the winter have stayed pretty stagnant in terms of our numbers and that. We haven't increased, we haven't decreased. We will shortly be decreasing because, as you can see, these boys here, they're ready for harvest. Now these guys are lucky because they get the wheat. There we go. Now I think this guy here on top of the roof there, I don't think he gets on with anybody really too much because he's always up on the roof there. So they've eaten a little bit, not a huge amount. Let's give them a bit of a top up. There we go. Right, I will come back and I will check these guys for eggs in a second, or else otherwise this video is just going to be like mega long. There you go, see, highly technical doors. And yet again we have chickens all around the doors. I will warn you, it will go dark in a second. I'm not sure how much you're going to be able to see when we go in there. But I won't be in there for a huge amount of time. But we'll definitely see what we can do. Right, so give them another scoop of wheat. Put it all into one bucket. Right, you guys need water as well. We'll come back and do that in a second. So they actually have an old sheep feeder down here. Oh, watch out, chickens. There we go. Eggs, and you can see, hopefully, it's up here, is where they like to lay their eggs. It's not the best of things because I can't exactly get into a position on this manger, whereas you can see my hand leaning over. I need like help from 4 other people, 6 other cameras to be able to do that sort of thing. Yeah, I'm getting good. They're certainly starting to fire them out. Over Christmas time they dried right up. But most of the girls in here, that one in there is some in there, they are ex-batteries. So, well, I say ex-batteries, you can't really have batteries anymore in the UK, but they're ex-commercial layers, that's probably the best way to put it. So they were used on a commercial farm. Right, now for the last bit, the noisy bit. See, we've got a few eggs in there. Yeah, we've got to go and do the noisy bit, and that's not you. No, you're the quiet bit. Right, let's go and do the noisy bit, and we'll see what they've got to say for themselves. Right, let me angle you down a bit because it all gets a bit down low. So I'm basically holding everything in one hand here, and you'll see why in just a second. So again, these guys have got a trough that I've just put the wheat into. You see it? See it? Goose egg. Crikey, that gets loud, and they do tend to mug you a little bit. They are really, really friendly, but they're just a little bit too friendly at breakfast time. And at this time of year, they're quite pleased to have the doors open, because you would see half of them came running out, and the other half just sort of like stayed in there. And then what happened is the half that stayed in there with the geese will then come out, and the ones who came out first, they'll then go back in, and they'll get to eat their breakfast. And they do that because they've sort of split themselves up into 2 flocks for breeding purposes. Right, so how are we doing for time? 23 minutes, crikey, this has gone on a bit. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to whiz around, I'm going to do the eggs, I need to do their water, I need to do the water for the layers, and I need to do the water for the geese. I'm going to do that off camera because there's no point in doing that. So I will say thank you ever so much for watching. You have been a fantastic viewer today. Please do leave us a comment down below. Please do hit that subscribe button. Please do hit the like button. Any questions, comments, leave them down below. And as long as you're nice, I'll respond. And yeah, we'll go from there. But spring has definitely sprung, so more videos are coming. That's what's called a bait hive. I'll explain those in another video. And we will go from there. So thank you so much, and until the next video, bye bye.